Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Al Double honors to the apostles, a great millstone, and salutations to elect, which we ought to be. It's your brother Hawati. Got a quick lesson for you Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelites who better shame looking like heathens. The spirit bear witness that they are child of Heavenly Father. In the name of Heavenly Father is Yahweh, who the world only calls Jehovah God or Yahweh. In the name of Heavenly Son is Yahweh who the world only calls Jesus Christ or Jesus Christus or Yeshua. Quick lesson. Any other precepts come out, you already know it's the Holy Spirit. It's the Holy Spirit, whether you believe it or not. And one of the things that we got to watch out for, if it concerns you, is don't let pride and stuff sneak in, you know, because I've been seeing stuff, this playful ass demon that's been going around, and it's because what's going on in their leisure, you know. With us being closer to the end stuff, a lot of these people and stuff, that's the type of spirit that they're gonna be in, what to do. You know what I'm saying? Not just being roused up about what's going on and stuff. It's gonna be a lot of free time that they have. And with that free time and stuff, they're gonna grow in pride. Because remember, Satan, he has to put you in a nonchalant spirit and stuff where you think you got it. That's one of the easiest ways and stuff to get your ass and stuff to fall out. You know what I'm saying? It's the easiest way and stuff to slide into that lukewarm area too, that gray area of uncertainty, you know? And I just be thinking about Matthew the 13th chapter, you know what I'm saying, where Satan trying to uproot you, you know, and how you got all these other spirits and whatnot and stuff trying to guide you and stuff according to their algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes down to Esau and the rest of these other nations and stuff, even our own people and whatnot and stuff, they're trying to do that too. That's part of that Galatians 2 and 4. Bringing you back into bondage. You know what I'm saying? Especially when First Peter 4 and 4 and stuff is really in play, that they get upset that you're on a different vibration. You know what I'm saying? We the sight, we everything all healthy, right? But then they the ones and stuff who show unhealthiness and whatnot. Remember, things are backwards for them. What they consider healthy is unhealthy. What they consider unhealthy is healthy, referring to this word. And in a lot of animes and stuff, if it looked like it was a person and stuff who was not on the same accord and stuff on whatever side and whatnot, they would look that out and stuff and try to recruit, you know, and they'll keep going. Like all this, like the scripture says in the book of Sirach, it's like, well, it will say that uh uh in the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiastes and Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus and Apocrypha, it would say uh damn, easily distracted. Man. Uh uh Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say. But that's all right. Well, you gotta watch out for it and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because it can sneak up on you. And when it come down to the sneaking up on you and stuff, you can gradually, slowly but surely, you know what I'm saying, slide right back into the world and wouldn't even know it. You know what I'm saying, or bring your ass into Christianity if that's where you started from. you know, and the Christians and stuff are carefree. Probably be citing a couple of scriptures here and there and whatnot and stuff, but you become less examinative of yourself and whatnot and stuff. That's what the spiritual demon Satan and his level with demons and stuff, and he'll use whoever. He can even use yourself, you know what I'm saying, and cause you to just gradually come back, you know what I'm saying, to try to trying to uh, uh, redeem you and stuff to go back into that bad state, or to have that bad intention to get lost again. You know what I'm saying? Right? And when you're in a race and whatnot and stuff, you don't stop. And even if it looked like you about to fall and stuff, guess what? You doing the best that you can, you know, to get back up again, you know. But remember, a lot of people and stuff want us to stay down because remember they think that they saving us. You know, you just need to leave that alone. Things ain't been happening and whatnot and stuff for you. They might count their blessings and stuff, right? But at the same time, there's no straight and narrow. You know what I'm saying? There's no growing process. There's no building up and whatnot and stuff. There's no breaking up the fallow ground and whatnot, you know. And the Lord is looking for harvest. You know what I'm saying? We want to be one of the ones and stuff who get harvested off this motherfucking planet and whatnot and stuff. So we won't be labeled as the transgressors. And the one thing that the transgressors gonna be labeled with is pride. So this is and it's because in their leisure time and stuff, that's what they do. They help manifest more demons, and it don't have to be no skulls and witchery and witchcraft and what else like it don't have to be skulls and candles burning and whatnot and stars all over the place and whatnot with dust on their face, powder and shit. You know, it don't have to necessarily be that way and stuff. It could just be that inconsistency to still follow after Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. You know what I'm saying? To the point and stuff. What happens when you just so knocked out cold by drinking the devil's juice? And here it is and stuff. I mean, it's the philosophy. And here it is and stuff. It's time to go. And he tapping on your motherfucking shoulder. And you over here talking about put it on my tab. And he tapping on your shoulder and stuff. And yeah, you won't wake up. You know, you don't want to get there. If you feel like and stuff that you've been kind of like being drawn and stuff to the left. You know what I'm saying? Because Satan gonna be doing all types of things, everything that he can and whatnot and stuff to try to distract you and stuff because we at the end. And what's gonna be the main ones? Loved one, or one and stuff that can be potentially and stuff to fall in love with and stuff. The only thing that they want you to do and stuff is fall in love with Yahweh and Yahweh Shai and whatnot and stuff because that's the whole point of their mission, you know. And remember, a lot of them want to be like other men's lives. He saved by himself. He cannot save. They snickering around like that and stuff. And it's and like they don't believe in the they don't believe this. They don't believe that. They want to believe. They want to choose. They want to pick and choose. You know what I'm saying, right? And the thing is that it's like if you slightly and stuff showing that you better and whatnot and stuff, right? You know, uh, um, they gonna want to hinder that and stuff because they not gonna want to partake and stuff because they gotta go through that straight and narrow. They ain't going. They ain't trying to do no Acts 14 and 22. Through much tribulation shall you enter the kingdom of heaven. They're trying to seek the broad way. You know what I'm saying? To make it in the kingdom, and it's like, well, look, you will make it in the kingdom, even if you pursue and stuff the broad way that lead to destruction. You know what I'm saying? It's like you'll still make it in the kingdom, but you not your glory gonna be different. It's not gonna be that of the sun or the moon. You know, your glory is gonna be labeled with the transgressions being written out, being not written in the book of life. And that spirit is just all about bringing somebody down. You know what I'm saying? Right? Some people already made their decision and stuff on what they gonna do, and it's like, well, you know, if I can't make it, no one can type spirit. And then that's when this boat of energy and stuff just comes up out of nowhere and stuff, and now they can fuck around and do all things, and it's like shit. Why you can't do that and stuff for the truth? Because they don't have to consider themselves and stuff if they walk down the broad way, you know. So this Sirach or Ecclesiastes in Apocrypha chapter 10 verse 12, it says the beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High, Yahweh, by Shema Shai, and his heart is turned away from his Maker. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination. And guess what? You're going to see how much time they have and stuff to do wickedness, you know. And it says, and therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. And that main strange calamity and stuff is a strong delusion. The Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11. They start getting into other things. Like the apple of the eye and stuff, switches and stuff from off the truth. And it could be a high and low and whatnot. And also watch out for those spiritual lows, because those spiritual lows and stuff uh, 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 it's like snatching the rug up underneath your feet. You know what I'm saying? Or that woe is me spirit and whatnot and stuff. It's all about the distractions. But to recognize it and stuff is what it is. And remember, Satan don't want you to recognize it and stuff, so he can continue stuff to pull away more and more. You know, like remember in the movie The Rock with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. When he went into that one area and stuff, right? Yeah, I guess he was trying to get his camel back or something, and he did his little move with the eyebrows and shit and stuff, right? And the whole time those girls was disarming him. And by the time he realized it and stuff, guess what? It was just him and his bare knuckles. That's what Satan trying to do, you know. And he's gonna use all the various things of the world. We know what Matthew's 4 says, right? And whatever it is and stuff that you don't have and stuff that gives a carnal benefit and whatnot and stuff, he will also increase that too. But what keeps you blindsided and stuff, or temporary blindsided? Pride. So this Second Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 8, it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. They can't handle exhortation. This is Jeremiah 5:14. You know, uh, uh, um, Hebrews 4:12. You know, right? Indicators and whatnot and stuff, right? Meaning they can't handle this word and stuff, or they trying to seek for something and stuff that gives them comfort. And it's not the scriptures. I remember the brother Kawalia, he was saying that what you want to do and stuff, you want to stay in the spirit stuff to the point this is all you think about every day. You know what I'm saying? But that absent minded and whatnot and stuff, remember Satan is looking for that interval, and he'll use whoever, you know, even yourself and your own little dainties. Like, say, if you too much in the world and stuff, I say it like this. If it looks like that I'm pulling away and whatnot and stuff, folly starts to get boring. And it's like those little indicators and stuff to wake up and whatnot and stuff, and be like, just like, shoot, read a scripture or two. Or what they be doing nowadays, press the button. You know, I don't know if it's for a record, but sometimes and stuff you gotta send those electronic jolts, spiritual electronic jolts and stuff to your spirit and stuff to be so you can wake up, because it's just another slick and sly way and stuff to get you to fall back to sleep. When the scripture says and stuff that it's high time to wake out of sleep. So I'm gonna read this again. It says Second Thessalonians 2:8. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. You know what I'm saying? We want to be found still doing the will of the Lord and stuff. Why? Because these spirits and stuff are going to increase. You know what I'm saying? Verse 9, it says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, right? Counterfeit miracles. Verse 10, it says, and with almost like how the Simpsons and stuff are so accurate at what's going to go down and whatnot, because they're planning it, right? Right? And right? Second, shoot, uh, uh, you know, uh, um, I guess you could say Boondocks and what is it? The Simpsons and whatnot and stuff. You can call those false prophets for the ones and stuff who create them. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people and stuff lean upon that and stuff, but it's just it's predictive programming, right? So this is Second Thessalonians 2, And 10 it says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And once again, what does pride do and whatnot and stuff? It keeps you, it causes you to veer off and stuff to the point you in a situation of no return. You know what I'm saying? You that lamb that straggled a little bit too far and whatnot and stuff, and yet the shepherd's voice and stuff can't reach. You know, right? You get curious and stuff in various other areas and whatnot and stuff that doesn't do anything and stuff to develop a closer relationship with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You know, you showing interest and stuff for that bad boy and stuff in that leather jacket, leather coat and stuff, zipper and stuff, and he comes to school with a motorcycle all the time, whisking his hair and stuff. No, he needs hair gel and stuff to make it look that way. You know, but anyway, um, it says it says verse 10 again, it says, and with all deceitfulness of unrighteousness in them that perish. And what's another thing that gives off this I think it's Isaiah. Here we go. This is Isaiah 65 verse 1. It says, I am sought of them that asked not for me. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, behold me, unto a nation that was not called by my name. I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people. It says, which walketh in a way that was not good after their own thoughts. It says, a people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face, that sacrifices in gardens and burneth incense upon altars of brick. And that's talking about churches, you know what I'm saying, or places of worship, you know what I'm saying, that doesn't cater to Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. Verse 4, it says, which remain among the graves, right? Revelations 11 and 8. It says, and lodged in the mountains. It says, which eat swine's flesh and broth of abominable things is in their vessels. It says, which say, stand by thyself, come not near to me. It says, for I am holier than thou. These are a smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day, all the day. You know, and the thing is that yeah, uh, they had that holier than thou spirit. You know what I'm saying? You know, but that that holier than thou spirit and stuff is within their pride. You know what I'm saying? You know, where it's like it can't nothing happen to me, and so it caused them to be less considerate again. You know, right? So what was I? I'm gonna go back to that Thessalonians. Right, so the Second Thessalonians 2 and 11 it says, and for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusions that they should believe a lie. You know what I'm saying? It says that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. You know what I'm saying? You know, so pride, that's what it can do. It can slowly but surely and stuff bring you into an area and whatnot and stuff where you think you got it and stuff, and the whole time you don't. You just got bits and pieces and stuff slipping away. Just like how you see and stuff where it says Ecclesiastes 81, it says that wisdom causes a man's face to shine and the boldness of his face shall change. A lot of individuals, a lot of individuals and stuff where it almost seemed like, nah, this is just me, you know. A lot of individuals and stuff who had like strong boldness and stuff and was in it, but then they start to fall away and whatnot and add new doctrines and stuff, right? You know, you see that not just their boldness stuff look more and more wicked. You know what I'm saying, right? But then it's like they boldness and stuff kind of fades away. Like they gonna go back into that outside the age, but it's like you can see that their boldness and stuff is smoothing away. Why? Because it's like wisdom is like a mighty stone that they can't wait to get off because they tired of going through the suffering. You know, you know. like a child and stuff, and they sitting up here in school and whatnot and stuff, and they think they finished or they sped through it and whatnot and stuff just so they can talk some shit. Ain't taking the test serious, and then next thing they wondering stuff why they failed. You know, got too many minuses and whatnot. Probably don't even get a grade. You just get a bunch of minuses and stuff on your test. Everything is fucking wrong. You get more than a zero. No, you get less than a zero, Salakia. Right? And with that being the case and whatnot and stuff, it's like we can't do this. We can't get absent minded like this. Cause then guess what? We'll start stumbling in the realm and stuff of where the Lord gonna start hating us. Even if you do, it's like, well, I have not ever come against the Lord ever. Woo to woo, your actions did, you know. And that's why self-examination and stuff is a heavy thing and stuff to really pay attention to, even in Psalms, no, yeah, Psalms 26:2 and whatnot and stuff. Even to ask the Lord if is there anything and stuff that you lacking on, He will let you know. He know how your spirit is and stuff, and He knows whatever sign and stuff is going to be, you know, just to get you and stuff to see. Uh, right, so this back in Sirach, um, Sirach, back in Sirach 10, I'm gonna go to 7 right quick. It says, "Pride is hateful before the Most High the man, and by both do it one commit iniquity." Right. So what they say, you smelling yourself, you feeling yourself, woo to woo and whatnot and stuff. Right. You know, it's like how niggas get they what would they call it? They get their tax return. You know what I'm saying? And they balling and whatnot and stuff. But when all that money is gone because they spent it on stupid shit and whatnot and stuff, right? What ended up happening? They still rolling around like yeah, yeah, yeah and stuff, and everybody got used to it. And it's like or somebody else and stuff outdid them. You know how it be, right? But other than that, it's like it's hateful before the Most High man and whatnot and stuff. Why? Because it's like it's pushy, but it's an indicator. You know what I'm saying, that you might be in this type of spirit and stuff, which calls for examination. You know what I'm saying? Because what it says is Sirach 23 and 19. It says, no, it's up. So verse 16, it says, two sorts of men multiply sin. It says, and a third will bring wrath. It says, a hot mind is as a burning fire, right? A hot mind don't always have to be angry and stuff. It could also be a certain state of the spirit and stuff that's, you know, very, very heightened. You know what I'm saying? Like hot as a fire. It says it would never be quenched till it be consumed, right? Man, what puts out that person's fire and whatnot and stuff, which you could put out your own fire, you know, like it says in Galatians 5:16, no 5:17. It says, "For the spirit lust against the no the flesh lusts against the spirit against the flesh. These are contrary one to another. So you would not do the things that you would. And what's the things that you would? Uh, 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 Things and stuff that pertains to salvation. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because the spirit and stuff is not going to lead you down the wrong path, but the flesh will. You know, it's like how they show the two different signs and whatnot and stuff, right? It's like two different roads. One looks scary, the other one look all peaceful and whatnot and stuff, right? What people tend to do, go for the one that's more peaceful and stuff, but then that's the trap. You know what I'm saying? Because here it is and stuff. It's like, hey, nothing's gonna happen to me and stuff down here, and the whole time, all the little pretty little animals and whatnot and stuff, right? It's just a disguise. Satan has transformed himself into an angel of light, you know, and here it is and stuff. You can see in unicorns and whatnot and stuff, and they eating each other and stuff, and they looking at you and chasing you down and stuff, and ready to do all types of things and whatnot and stuff. But when it come down to that creepy word and stuff of a person and stuff, gotta constantly and stuff look out and stuff because it looks spooky and whatnot and stuff. Therefore, uh, uh, um, amplifying or using and stuff that wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let me watch out for this. You know what I'm saying? Hey, them eyes over there is making a lot of scary noises and stuff, but let me not investigate. Let me just keep going. You know what I'm saying? It don't look like and stuff that they're gonna attack me and stuff, but everything looks scary and stuff, right? And then by the time you get to the end of the road and whatnot and stuff, you know what I'm saying? You see that you was on the right path. You gotta go through that straight and narrow. You know, you gotta go through that straight and narrow. And within leisure time and stuff to do more work, cut on to me. You know, because also when I see myself tend to do more work and whatnot and stuff, right? Or even do a lot of meditation, which brings a lot of videos and stuff to mind, or whatever I watch and whatnot and stuff. It's always a spirit out there and stuff. It's like, hey, look at me, look at me. Just stop paying attention to that. Look at me, look at me. Or how you know and stuff when you do a video and stuff. That's when the spirits get active. You know what I'm saying? You can go into a place and stuff where for some reason nobody's around, but as soon as you press record and stuff, that's when the area you want to get populated. And let's say it's like, well, it ain't nothing and stuff. This is just a open space that anybody can come through and stuff. Let me move into another area and whatnot and stuff, right? You move into that other area and stuff, and you see that they follow you, or it's brand new people and stuff doing the same shit. And it's like, where the fuck is you motherfuckers coming from? You know what I'm saying? You know. It says, I'm gonna read again. This is Sirach 23:16. It says, two sorts of men multiply sin, and a third will bring wrath. A hot mind is as a burning fire. It says it will never be quenched till it be consumed, till they get what they get. So imagine the stuff is an itch that they couldn't scratch. They gonna keep going at it, you know. And if they fixate on that and stuff, right, they're gonna slowly but surely be open the door and stuff onto Satan and stuff to play with them and stuff so they can be fixated and stay fixated on something and stuff that's not towards salvation, especially if they are the way of the world. It says a fornicator in the body of his flesh would never cease till he had kindled a fire, you know, meaning that until something bad happens, you know. Verse 17 says, all bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die. Verse 18, a man that breaketh wedlock, which is adultery, it says, saying thus in his heart, who seeth me? I am compassed about with darkness, the walls cover me, and nobody seeth me. What need I to fear? The Most High would not remember my sins, right? And that's a prideful statement, because it's pretty much saying, oh, because when you in your pride and whatnot and stuff, and you being talked to about an individual who's saying that they gonna do this and do that and stuff, and that rah rah spirit and stuff, and you know that they more than likely can do it, but you sit up here, nothing's going on, you in your area, right? And it's like, man, that motherfucker ain't gonna do nothing. That motherfucker ain't gonna do nothing and stuff, right? And more than likely and stuff, why is the reason why you feel that way and stuff? Because for so long nothing has happened. So you in your pride. Because what is the pride and whatnot and stuff, because what most people were saying stuff would be like, well, it's like, well, it's like, man, they ain't gonna do nothing, but at the same time, right? Because this is the consideration. It's like, well, if they do something, stuff, we'll be prepared. So pride and stuff causes you and stuff to lack consideration to the point you won't even ask the Lord for anything because you feel like you got it already. Look at Job's sons. You know, look what they said and stuff. They was sitting up there on some not giving credit to the Heavenly Father to the point they blaspheme the name. And you already know and stuff that Job was teaching his children and stuff the correct way on how to serve the Lord. Because it tell you that in Deuteronomy the 6th chapter. You know what I'm saying? Just to teach your offspring and stuff and in the knowledge of the Bible and stuff. Because if you want them saved and whatnot, they got to develop a relationship with the Lord and keep that strong. You know? They gonna do it anyways with everybody else, but why not him and his heavenly son, Yahweh Shai? You know, Yahweh is the heavenly name of the heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai is the heavenly name of the heavenly Son. You know, right? So this is I could just do that. This is Proverbs 20 and 26. No, 22 and 6. It says it says train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Right. So I don't know if I can spell leisure right quick. In Sirach 38 and 24, it says, the wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it says, and he that have little business shall become wise. And a lot of these people's leisure time and whatnot and stuff is to really be in folly. You know, there ain't nothing wrong with stuff. You could watch entertainment. You could do, you know, ever so much and whatnot as long as, you know, you could do that, right? But if that continues to accumulate more and more and stuff within your life and whatnot and stuff, then guess what? You can go back into that worldly spirit and stuff, and we already know what the scriptures talk about and stuff for ones and stuff who know the scriptures already. You know, saying that it was better than stuff that you have not learned this and whatnot to go back into the world and it make Yahweh Shai stuff open shame afresh. You know, because here it is, Yahweh Shai stuff is claiming that guess what? Uh, uh, a lot of things and stuff on our part and stuff will be well no a lot of things and stuff that he sacrificed his life for and stuff that guess what the kingdom and stuff is way better than what you're going through right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, I died for you and stuff, and this is what you're gonna do to me. You're gonna give up. You know what I'm saying? You know, especially when he prayed and stuff, because he didn't want to do it and stuff, because it's like shit. Majority of the nation and stuff are niggas. They like being inferior and stuff, but they want to walk around and stuff as if they're superior. You know, and they don't want to do the very thing and stuff that makes them superior. You know, as long as it's tangible and stuff, and that's the ideals and stuff of what superiority is and whatnot, they'll go for it. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's why having a good name and stuff, right? Even though it's kind of out there, people like to be famous and whatnot and stuff. A lot of people really don't care about having a good name. You know what I'm saying? They just care about being at the top. You know what I'm saying? You know, because if you have a good name and you being at the top and whatnot, and there's no financial behind it and stuff, a lot of people and stuff ain't going for it. You know, right? So, anyways, um this is I could have went. I could have kept going, and that's Rock 22. No, no, it's Rock 10. This is back at Rock 10 and verse 9. It says, "Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not more wicked thing than a covetous man." You know, and they can covet over anything and whatnot and stuff, right? It says, a covetous man. You know, one that one that likes and stuff what another one has. It said for such and ain't nothing wrong with stuff. It's like, oh yeah, you got that stuff, shoot. Man, it's like did you see such and such? They got this new that new shit and whatnot and stuff, right? And you over here and stuff and get provoked and stuff to get one of your own and whatnot, ain't nothing wrong with that. But when it's like, nah, I'm gonna get his shit. You know what I'm saying? right? Nah, well, he got already and stuff. That's what I gotta get. That's covetousness, wanting somebody else's stuff. You know what I'm saying? Instead of getting up your own. And it comes with uh, 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 it goes right along with the precept where it says, "Woe to him that's evil unto himself." Right, right. Or is something about Sirach 14:3. Sirach 14:3. It says, "Riches are not comely for a niggard. Niggard means someone who's stingy." It says, "And what should an envious man do with money?" You know what I'm saying? Meaning that guess what? The only thing that he's gonna be paying attention to and stuff is trying to take whoever he thinks and stuff that's in his way down. You know, and guess what? That also you see how that open door, especially if it looks like that things and stuff is happening in your favor. You see how it causes you and stuff to be not cautious of everything. You know, right? Not cautious of everything. You don't want to be cautious for nothing and stuff, but you start to lack consideration and stuff. You know, so I'm gonna get this. It's back in Sirach 10:9. It says, "Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. For such a one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth, he cast away his bowels." It says, all right, so I'm gonna get this Proverbs. Uh, I read that one. I think it was Proverbs 16:15. Um, what does it say? 16, 18. All right, so I'm gonna get this. This is it's Proverbs chapter 4. It's Proverbs 4:10. I started verse 1. It says, "Hear ye children the instruction of a father, and attend to know uh 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 So like it says, "Hear ye children the instruction of a father." It says, "And attend to no understanding. For I give you good doctrine. Forsake ye not my law. For I was my father's son, tender and only beloved in the sight of my mother." It says, "He taught me also and said unto me, Let thine heart retain my words, keep my commandments, and live. Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not. Neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and forsake her not. It's like forsake her not. It says, "And she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing thereof. Get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding." You know what I'm saying? Right? Because guess what? After repetition and whatnot and stuff, guess what? Wisdom will meet you in every thought. Where therefore you will consider and stuff the next move or the next couple of steps that you're trying to make. Like the brother Marielle and stuff, he would say that whatever he's doing, but he would say this in the past and stuff. He was saying stuff. We're playing chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying? Right? Uh, 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 and then when it come down to chess and stuff, you consider all moves, not just yours, but then also the enemies. That's why you see a lot of people and stuff just to get better and stuff. You know what they do? They play against themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's like having a racing game and stuff. And if you want to know the board and execute the turns stuff a little better, knowing when to accelerate and to slow down and whatnot and stuff, right? To put in that torque and stuff in motion. You know what I'm saying, right? You will record your best lap and whatnot and stuff, and then every time you stuff, you'll continue. You'll play the previous of what you did and stuff, and you'll try to overcome that. You know what I'm saying, right? So that it's like that. You know, uh, um, when it come down to yeah. So this is Proverbs 4 and 8. It says, "Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her." Right. So the scripture says in Romans the ninth chapter, it talks about vessels onto honor and vessels onto uh, um, vessels onto dishonor. You know what I'm saying, right? It says, and we want to be vessels unto honor. So like it says, verse 9, it says, "She shall give to thy head an ornament of grace." It says a crown of glory shall she deliver to thee. Hail, my son, and receive my sayings, and the years of thy life shall be many. It says, "I have taught thee in the ways of wisdom. I have led thee in right paths." It says, "When thou goest," when thou goest, thy steps shall not be straitened, and when thou runnest, thou shalt not stumble. Right? It says, "Take fast hold of instructions." It says, "Let her not go. Keep her, for she is thy life." It says, "Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away." Meaning, don't be enticed. You know what I'm saying? Even if it does look good. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people and stuff who look like they're gonna look like they're winning already and stuff are really gonna be the ones and stuff who who loses. You know what I'm saying? And more than likely and stuff, they counting up all their tangible things and whatnot and stuff, right? Instead of just being considerate and stuff or being happy and stuff what the Lord had blessed them with and whatnot, they always got to use and stuff in a form of comparison when it come down to another person. Therefore and stuff, guess what? They're seeking and stuff to stay asleep or to get rocked back to sleep, you know? Right? This is Hebrews 10:38. Because remember, we all put our hand upon this plow. You know what I'm saying, man? That we got to keep working. Even when it comes down to pride, to keep it continuous and whatnot, you got to keep working at it, you know? Right? But this is Hebrews 10:35. It says, "Cast not away, therefore, your confidence, which have great recompense of reward. For ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of Yahweh Shemi Shai, ye might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come, and I will not tarry." For 38, it says, "Now the just shall live by faith." It says, "But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him." Right, right. So pretty. If you have Cash App. So a lot of the drawing back and stuff is Satan putting in his thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Putting in his ways and whatnot and stuff. His little showstoppers and whatnot and stuff to end your walk and journey and stuff to get closer to that the end of the tunnel and stuff. The light. You know what I'm saying? To misplace or redirect and stuff your tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying, right? Verse 28. It says, "But we are not of them who draw back onto perdition." It says, "But of them that believe to the saving of the soul." So we ain't trying to draw back and stuff. So that's why we gotta hold tight and whatnot. And even when it come down to relationships and stuff, right? Wisdom love you and whatnot and stuff. Guess what? She gonna come in your face and stuff, and it's like, uh, 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 she gonna be like, "You with that girl? That strange woman? You know." You know how women do and stuff. They get in your face. You know what I'm saying? You know, when they not getting enough attention. They do whatever they can and whatnot and stuff to be like, I'm here too. I exist. You know? Just like how Satan was trying to give you how shot that strange woman and stuff. He was like, nah, I ain't into her. She into too many things. You know what I'm saying? You know, but he went for his own cistern. And not cistern as sister, but a cistern, meaning his own well. You know what I'm saying? You know, right? He stayed with wisdom, right? But anyways, this is Proverbs 4:14. It says, enter not into the path of the wicked. It says, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. Matter of fact, I gotta get that Proverbs 3. It might not be 3, it might be 6. Yeah, I need to start reading. Yeah, she probably gave him enough time not to put something in there. There's always a damn setup with this motherfucking. No, I'm not trying to deal with no fucking black girls. Y'all got some fat asses and some fat ass heads too. You know what I mean? Fat head and whatnot, meaning that y'all ass fucking airheads and shit. Mm. This, this Proverbs 2:12. It says, deliver thee from the way of evil man. It says, from the man that speaketh forward things, and forward means wicked, twisted, you know. It says, verse 13, who leave the path of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil. It says, and delight in the forwardness of the wicked. It says, it says, the perverseness. To be a pervert and stuff is to do things that's wicked. Verse 15, um, whose ways are crooked, and they forward in their past. Deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words. Right, like those three mermaids and whatnot. You had the pirates and stuff set out sea and whatnot and stuff, right? And they pull them in and stuff with their songs just to eat them. You know what I'm saying? And they use uh, uh, sexual lures and stuff to get them comfortable. Or matter of fact, the same thing I was talking about when it came down to The Rock. You know, Dwayne The Rock Johnson stuff in that movie Scorpion King. He got flattered. You know what I'm saying? You know, right? Like in God of War, how almost everything and stuff had breasts, but it was trying to kill you. Just flat nipples. You know, just straight up. At least B to D cups, areolas. You know, with hard nipples and whatnot and stuff because that cold wind must have been touching them. But anyways, the thing is, it was trying to kill you. You know, even though I'm thinking about the sisters of fate and whatnot and stuff, right? How they breast was out, but they was trying to kill you. You know, that's what this strange woman is and stuff. You know, and the strange woman and stuff. What it does is that it's another philosophy, another way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? You know, right? To move and stuff in another way of the spirit and stuff. When the spirit and stuff is whole, it's not two parts to it. You know, uh, it's just an opposite. You know what I'm saying? Right? So this It says, verse 16 again, it says, deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words. Right? It says, which forsaketh the guide of her youth and forgetteth the covenant of her power. And remember, the scriptures do talk about stuff. Forget not thy first love, right? Forget not thy first love, right? And it says, meaning it's truth. It says, for her house, or verse 18. It says, for her house inclineth unto death. It says, and her paths unto the dead. It says, not that none that go onto her return again, meaning that you fully been taken over and stuff. And pride can do that too. You know what I'm saying? Pride, like how you got something that's called bad faith, and bad faith what keeps you, what keeps good faith, so like you got something that's called bad faith, and then you got also good faith. And when it come down to good faith and whatnot and stuff, what's that invisible what's the thing and stuff that keeps you going? Hope. You know what I'm saying, right? But when it come down to living and stuff according to the world, which would be the strange woman, you know what I'm saying, what continues stuff down that path, pride. You know what I'm saying, it's the fuel. Hope is the fuel for faith. You know what I'm saying, and the pride and pride and stuff is the fuel for carnality. You know what I'm saying, right? Because it's either two ways: the spirit or the flesh. And it says, so let me see. Bear with me. Matthew 5, Proverbs 5. I mean, so it's Proverbs chapter 5, verse 1. It says, "My son, attend unto my wisdom," and it says, it says, it says, "My son, attend unto my wisdom." It says, "And bow thine ear to my understanding, that thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge." It says, verse 3, it says, "For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb." It says, "In her mouth is smoother than oil," right? Just like how Satan is. And in Psalms 55 and 21, it says, "But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword," right? It says, "Her feet go down to death, her steps take hold on hell," right? Meaning the grave. Hell can be a condition or the grave. Verse 6, it says, "Lest, meaning that not thou shouldest ponder the path of life, her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them." You know what I'm saying? Always shifting around. You know what I'm saying? Indecisive, not really sure. You know, verse 7, it says, "Hear me now, therefore, O ye children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. Remove thy way from far from her." It says, "And come not nigh the door of her house, lest meaning that not thou give thy honor unto others, and thy years unto the cruel. That not lest meaning that not strangers be filled with thy wealth." It says, "And thy labors be in the house of a stranger." Right? It says, "And thou mourn at the last, when thy flesh and thy body are consumed." It says, verse 12, it says, "And say, how have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof, and have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to them that instructed me." And why is that? Because you had that holy than thou spirit, you know what I'm saying, or you had that uh uh or you was filled up with pride and stuff where no one can tell you anything, you know, you know. Ugh. So it's just a quick one, you know what I'm saying, but you gotta watch out for pride and stuff. Okay, I gotta consider that even for myself and whatnot and stuff, because they're trying to slowly but surely and stuff bring you back into bondage, you know, because they still wrapping them chains of darkness. And the one thing that niggas don't like and stuff is seeing somebody else move on, where they still stuck in a certain area because misery loves company, or they want to do what they want to do instead that's considered better in themselves, you know. People want to start trends and whatnot and stuff, right? And the thing is that uh, this ain't the time to be doing that. If anything and stuff, shoot, the only trend that needs to be followed and stuff is living correctly according to the Lord. You know, right? So this is I want to close off with this. Oh, um, it's like I keep getting the brain fart. Oh, I didn't even get to it. So this is Proverbs chapter 16. 16. It says, "How much better is it to get with? How much better is it to get wisdom?" It says, "Than gold." It says to get understanding. It says to get. It says to get understanding rather than to be chosen than silver. It says, "The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul." Right? It says, let's get that word preserve. It's the word shamar, and it means to keep, guard, observe, give heed. You know what I'm saying, right? It says, it says to keep, retain, treasure up in memory, right? Right. So what happens and stuff when you're preserving your soul and stuff onto to keep away and stuff from the scriptures and whatnot and stuff, you know. Verse 18, it says, "Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." You know what I'm saying? You know, and this is what happens when people are proud. You know what I'm saying? You know, that lack of consideration and stuff brings them down low. You know, So it was just a quick lesson. I hope this video was edifying. I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, Habrakakodash. Double honors to apostles who great millstone and citations to elect, which we hope to be. Shalom, well, Kwame Asherah.